Is what we're witnessing the death of American democracy? Or is Donald J. Trump the saviour of the world? Oh, hello, yeah, wrong. I mean, who would want to be a politician? Or even the President of the United States? In this video, I'm going to give you an update on the Donald's position. We're also going to talk about Abraham Lincoln. What actually happened in 1860? Because everybody's quoting it. And we'll also do insurrection, fake or real. So, is what we're witnessing the death of American democracy? Is it just all corrupt and about the Benjamins? Or is Donald J. Trump actually the saviour of the world? Are you ready? So, yesterday, Colorado's Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that Donald J. was ineligible for the state's primary ballot, pending a potential US Supreme Court review. So you know what that means, don't you? So, Colorado Supreme Court have gone 4-3. Oi, sling your hook, mate. No, it's not happening. So then it goes up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to knock it back going, yeah, you can go on the ballot. But here's the rub. There's going to be more states coming out either for or against. We've got Maine tomorrow, Friday. They're going to make a decision tomorrow whether they're going to go exactly the same route as the Colorado Supreme Court or whether they're just going to knock it into the long grass. California. Efforts are underway to disqualify Trump, with the Lieutenant Governor calling on the Secretary of State to explore legal options. You've got New Hampshire. State is considering the applicability of the 14th Amendment to Trump's candidacy. They are trying every which way. Michigan. A lawsuit seeks to bar Trump from the ballot over insurrection allegations, and that's all they are. Allegations. He's not being found guilty in a court of law. He's not. But we'll get to that in a little while. So these insurrection allegations, they are seeking further information, and the Michigan Supreme Court is reviewing an appeal on the matter. Additionally, Michigan may soon join the other states in removing Trump from its ballot. So you see, it's the snowball effect. Arizona, the Secretary of State, has said he lacks the authority to disqualify Trump, but the issue remains open. So far, you've got the Colorado Supreme Court and their determination, and we're waiting for Maine, California, New Hampshire, Michigan, Arizona, and New Mexico. Similar efforts to disqualify Trump are also occurring in New Mexico. Now, on social media, loads of people are quoting George Santayana. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Is that the source of that quote? So, just like Colorado, the Democrats, who were mainly slave owners, have barred Republican presidential candidate, or just like in 1860, they barred Republican presidential candidate Abraham Lincoln from appearing on the ballots in 10 southern states. It was during the 1860 presidential election. It's all online. You can go and find out all the information. But Abraham Lincoln was elected as the 16th president of the United States, becoming the first Republican president in American history. And people are saying, well, hang on a second. Maybe it's because we're Brits and the political process in America is slightly different from the political process here. First past the post there, it's electoral college. That's another video. But these states that told Abraham Lincoln, no, you're not going on the ballot, mate, were South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Virginia. 10 of them. Lincoln didn't appear on the ballots in those southern states because they didn't support his candidacy due to his anti-slavery stance. The Democrats wanted to keep slaves and slavery forever. So can you not see how things have done a complete 180? Where it was the Democrats that wanted to keep the slaves, and it was a Republican, Abraham Lincoln, who said, no, let's abolish slavery. And it was because of Abraham Lincoln that slavery was abolished in America. But it was the southern states. Now, Those slave states chose to support other candidates or not include Abraham Lincoln's name on their ballots. However, despite not being in the ballots in those states, Abraham Lincoln won the election with a majority of electoral votes from the states where he was on the ballot. What that means, in simple terms, is Abraham Lincoln wasn't on the ballot in 10 states, so 10 states weren't allowed to vote for him. They voted for other people. But Abraham Lincoln got so many votes nationally that he beat every other candidate. Is that what's going to happen with the Donald? Is he so popular now that he doesn't need to be on ballots in certain states, but he needs to be on the ballot in the big states? So they'll try and knock him in the long grass, so to speak, and stop him from being on the ballot. Now, let's just park that for a moment and define insurrection. Because we know when the January 6th, I would call it a riot rather than an insurrection, but, who am I to judge? I'm not judging anyone. But I've seen the footage and it wasn't an insurrection as far as I'm aware. Let's define insurrection. Insurrection is an organised attempt by a group of people to defeat their government and take control of their country, usually by violence. Now, the Donald was in the White House and the Donald was telling people to calm down. Calm down. Or in a Scottish accent. So I'll give you that again. Insurrection is an organised attempt by a group of people to defeat their government and take control of their country, usually by violence. Now, what we're observing and witnessing is a bunch of people pointing the finger at Donald J. Trump and saying, oh, he's guilty of insurrection. Well, he's never been tried in a court of law. Everything that they've tried to chuck at him over the last 18 months, none of it stuck. None of it. They've tried everything. They even said he was in bed with the Russians. That's not a Jeffrey Epstein link. But they've tried every which way, and now they're saying he's guilty of insurrection. How can he be guilty of insurrection when there was no guns? I'll give it to you again. An organised attempt by a group of people to defeat their government and take control of their country, usually by violence. Was that whole January 6th a setup? Now, my take on this is very simple. The current incumbents, that's the Democrats, sniffy, speedy Joe, they're going to pull every stunt, every conceivable way and stunt they can to stop Donald J. Trump becoming the 47th president of the United States. He's already been the 45th, and then Sniffy's the 46th, and then 47, it's up for grabs. So who on earth would want to be the president of a country that has no democracy, only naked and rabid ambition? And if it's not ambition, it's corrupt, because it's all about the Benjamins. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of taxpayers' dollars have been given out like sweets to foreign dictators and foreign oligarchs or foreign presidents, if you wish. And that's why the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, had to come out and say, "Oi, hang on a second. If we're giving Ukraine another 200 billion, can we have some checks and balances, please? Because we don't know where the money's going. We don't know who it's being given to. We need to keep an eye on this." And what everybody's forgetting is the attempt by certain people to impeach President Joe Biden, the 46th president of the United States. It's all a bit grubby. It's all a bit murky. So you've got the Donald J on one side, and then you've got another president who they're trying to impeach. What would that be for? So I'm going to give the last word to Tucker Carlson. He's responded to the Colorodo Supreme Court decision to remove Trump off the ballot. And here's part of his statement, word for word. "Whatever else January 6th was, and in some ways, we still don't know exactly what it was. It was not a Trump-led insurrection. The crowd had no guns. They had no plan to overthrow the government. Nothing like that has ever emerged. And above all, Trump was not leading it. He was miles away in the White House at the time, where he issued a public statement calling for calm and non-violence." go and grab your popcorn. The next 10 months is going to be a wild ride.